This is Journey Podcast, Finding the Path to God. Part 1 of this podcast is listening to God speaking to you. My dear child, it's interesting to know that in my word I said not to slander one another, because anyone who speaks against a brother or sister or judges them speaks against the law and judges it. In other words, there's only one judge. There's only one lawgiver. It's the person speaking to you right now. And I've come to talk to you because I know you've been a recipient of judgmental thoughts of another person about you. And just as a reminder, I love you. I also equally love those who label you, even though I completely hate what they are doing. Yet, when people don't see you the way they should, I see you as someone with infinite value. When people see you as not good enough, or maybe as an object, I see you as my child. When people judge you by your mistakes, I see a grand opportunity for my work to be completed in you. When people see the end of the story, I see that the story is only half told, because the best is yet to come. I have compassion on you. And please don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that I just feel sorry for you. What I'm trying to say is that I long to be gracious to you. I want you to experience all of my goodness. Being a compassionate God means that I will guide and lead you to springs of living water while you thirst in the desert. Heaven and earth will break out in worship because I comfort my people, and I am compassionate to troubled ones. And even though the mountains be shaken and the hills be removed, yet my unfailing love for you will not be shaken, nor my covenant of peace be removed. I am a forgiving God, gracious and compassionate, slow to anger, and abounding in love, but also I'll have mercy on those who are merciful, and I will show compassion to those who are compassionate. So if it is possible, as far as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. Live in harmony with one another. Do not be proud, my child, but be willing to associate with people of low position. Don't be conceited. Do not repay evil for evil. Forgive those who belittle you, because it's easy to hold grudges. And if you don't forgive, you might not even know you're holding grudges. Don't be the person who is also judgmental, but love unconditionally and be compassionate to others. And like this, you will allow me to take you on a journey so great, like you've never imagined. Part 2, Reflection. A man named Bartimeus was having an awful life. He was a beggar. Not only was he a beggar, but he was also blind. He lived on the streets, and during that time, it was the belief that if a person suffered any disgrace or illness, it was because this person was a sinner. Or maybe he was suffering because of the sins of his parents, because it was a punishment from God. That was their belief. So not only did Bartimeus have to deal with extreme challenges of being a homeless, blind man, he also had to deal with the judgment of the people. He was no longer seen as a person of value. In fact, he was no longer seen as a person. He was seen as an object. Bartimeus was stereotyped as a disgrace, as someone who could never be able to accomplish something great in life. But the news came to Bartimeus that there was a certain man going around who taught and healed people and doing things that people never seen before. And good news, the day came that Jesus was passing by the very town where Bartimeus was living. But this was no coincidence. Bartimeus quickly positioned himself in a place where he could ask Jesus for healing, because maybe, he thought, maybe this could be my last chance to ever hope to see again. Finally, Jesus is walking in the street where Bartimeus was waiting, but there was many people pressing towards Jesus. hearing what was going on and not being able to see, Bartimeus started to scream out to Jesus. He thought this could be his last chance. The people nearest to Bartimeus told him to be quiet. Again, because he was labeled as a person who should never deserve good things in life. But even through the noise of the crowd, Jesus heard Bartimeus cry for help. And again, Jesus passing through this exact street was not a coincidence. People saw Bartimeus as a blind person, but Jesus saw a person who happened to be blind. Jesus didn't shame him, didn't condemn him, and he sure didn't see him as the rest did. It's because Jesus didn't see others through the lens of labels and stereotypes. He simply saw them as valuable human beings, deserving of love, deserving of compassion, regardless of all the circumstances. That day, Bartimeus was healed. When people saw an object, Jesus saw a person. When people saw someone who could never do anything to help himself, Jesus saw an opportunity for God to provide for. When people saw the end of the story, Jesus saw that the story was half told. This was the life-changing journey of Bartimeus. Part 3. Your response. Notice that you cannot be compassionate if you're judgmental, because judgment and compassion cannot coexist together. Take this moment now to talk with God. Ask God to show you how you may be judgmental sometimes, or how today you may be labeling people. Once the background music changes, then pray that God may allow you to understand His unfailing, unconditional, unwavering, deep, and satisfying love, and to make you live according to how He sees you and not as how others label you.